It's Christmas 2002. The tree is up, the lights are up, the turkey is in the oven. But is something missing? Or should I say, is someone missing? Let's find out right now. Happy Terrifying Tuesday, my Cajun cuties. Yes, it's me, Anne-Marie, aka the Cajun Crime Queen from Carencro, Louisiana. Cajun born, Cajun bred, and when I die, I'll be Cajun dead. I hope after this video that you like, subscribe, and comment, and don't forget to press on that notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne-Marie. I hope you have a beverage. I hope you have a snuggle partner or a snuggle fur partner. Those are the best. And you are ready to hear a true crime case with yours truly. And as always, I want to know, are you drinking your water? Are y'all staying hydrated? Are you getting those tickers up? Are y'all going for brisk 20, 30-minute walks every day? I'm telling you, just a quick 20, 30-minute walk every day. Get those endorphins up first thing in the morning. You are going to have an amazing day, I promise you. And today, we are going to be discussing the case, and a case that happened on Christmas Eve, 2002. Laci Denise Rocha was born on May 4th, 1975 to her parents, Dennis and Sharon Rocha. Laci was a beautiful child. She was outgoing, she was sweet, she was loving, she was an entertainer. All her friends said she loved to entertain. Laci had an older brother named Brent and a younger sister named Amy. When Laci was just a child, her parents divorced. Laci loved to garden just like her mother. Laci was a cheerleader in junior high and high school. Everyone says she loved to scream and shout. After graduating high school, Laci attended California Polytechnic State University, where she met Scott Peterson. She was infatuated with Scott. Y'all, she even said in 1994, when she gave Scott her phone number, she phoned her mother right away and said, "I met the man that I'm going to marry." And on August 9th, 1997, Laci married Scott Peterson. She was over the moon excited. But, just months after Laci and Scott were married, Scott had an extramarital affair on Laci. Laci never found out about the affair, but Scott did have an affair. Laci and Scott decided to buy a sports bar called The Shack. But in 2001, Laci and Scott decided to sell the shack to move back to Modesto, California, so they can focus on starting a family. And not long after moving to Modesto, California, Laci finds out some exciting news. She's going to have a beautiful baby boy, and she is due on February 10th, 2003. She has the room picked out. She has the name Connor picked out. She is beyond excited for the upcoming birth of her beautiful baby boy. Everyone says that Laci loved cooking, she loved baking, she loved entertaining, and her favorite show was the Martha Stewart Show. In November 2002, Scott Peterson meets a pretty blonde named Amber Fry, and the two begin a romantic relationship together. On December 23rd, 2002, Laci's sister Amy cut Scott's hair. Scott is going around the salon telling everybody how he's playing golf. The next day, December 24th, on Christmas Eve, 2002. Scott says he and Laci returned home. The next day, on December 24th, 2002, Scott decided that he was going to go fishing, not playing golf like he was telling everyone. Scott said he saw Laci at 9:30 in the morning when he left the house. He said Laci was happy. She was excited that it was Christmas Eve. She was watching the Martha Stewart show. She was about to start baking her cookies. She was overjoyed to know that the next day was Christmas Day. Around 10:30 that same morning, a neighbor spotted Mackenzie, which is Scott and Laci's golden retriever, walking around the neighborhood with just a leash on. The neighbor grabbed Mackenzie, put Mackenzie back in the Petersons' backyard, and just waited for someone to get home to find Mackenzie. Later on that afternoon, Scott returned home from fishing. He saw Laci's car in the driveway. Laci's purse was there, her sunglasses, her keys, but the house was empty. Scott walked over to the neighbor's house asking if they saw Laci. He told the neighbors that he was playing golf all day. He also told Laci's family that he was playing golf all day. He saw Mackenzie in the backyard. He grabbed Mackenzie, brought her in the house, called Laci's mother, Sharon, asking Sharon if she had seen Laci. Sharon said, "No, I haven't seen her. Why? What's going on?" He said, "She's missing." Sharon's like, "What are you talking about? She's missing." He said, "I haven't seen her. Her car is here. Her purse is here. Everything's here. She's not here." Laci's stepfather, Ron, phoned the police and reported Laci missing. The cops come over. They look around. But the cops seem very suspicious. They notice that Scott Peterson is cool, calm, and collected, not really worried at all about the disappearance of his pregnant wife. He's acting like it's just another day. The cops look around. They really don't find anything. But reporters are there. Cameras are there. Everybody's there looking for Laci. But you know what Scott says? The comment Scott makes, he says, "I don't want to be interviewed. I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to attend the vigils. And I don't want any pictures of me in the media." Why is that? On December 30th, 2002, Amber Fry notified police about her and Scott Peterson's relationship. Amber was devastated, but wanted to help in any way she could. She had no clue Scott was married. Amber Fry told detectives when she met Scott on November 20th, 2002, he told her he was not married. But on December 9th, 2002, just 2 weeks before Laci went missing, Scott told Amber that he was married and he lost his wife, and this was going to be the first Christmas without her. Amber believed him, but she knew something was up. On January 15th, 2003, the cops notified Laci's family that Scott Peterson was indeed having an affair on Laci. The Rocha family no longer supported Scott. Sharon Rocha also made the comment that she believed that Scott Peterson killed her daughter. Amber agreed to tape conversations between her and Scott, hoping to get a confession, but nothing. All Scott did was lie and lie and lie and lie, saying he was in Paris, saying he was here, there, everywhere. The whole thing was a lie. But Amber was very worried that something had happened to Laci Peterson. No one could find Laci at all. Y'all, there were posters, yellow ribbons, flyers, over 1,500 search volunteers, even a command center set up at a local hotel. Everyone was looking for Laci. I couldn't even imagine what her parents were going through. I couldn't imagine having to search for my pregnant child in dumpsters, in canals, in rivers, in woods, anything to look for my child. That sounds so devastating, so heartbreaking. And my heart goes out to anyone that has ever been through that. But all of that came to an end in April 2003. Even though there was a $500,000 reward set up for the safe return of Laci Peterson, all of that came to a sad end on April 13th, 2003, when a couple walking their dog came upon the decomposing body of a full-term baby boy in a marshy area near the San Francisco Bay. And only 1 day later, the decomposing body of a recently pregnant woman, missing the head, the arms, and most of the legs, washed up near the San Francisco Bay, just a mile where the decomposing body of the baby boy was found. Everyone feared that it was baby Connor and Laci Peterson. Everyone was so worried and terrified. And all of these horrible thoughts came true on April 18th, 2003, when DNA results confirmed the body of Connor and Laci Peterson were the bodies that were found near the San Francisco Bay. And didn't someone go fishing around that area? Cops were afraid because Scott Peterson was in San Diego, and San Diego is near the Mexican border. and cops believed that Scott Peterson would flee. The FBI and Modesto Police Department performed forensic searches of the Petersons' home. The FBI also conducted DNA testing on a hair from pliers found in Scott's fishing boat that linked them with the hairs recovered from Laci's hairbrush. The authorities also searched Scott's pickup truck, toolbox, warehouse, and boat. A homemade anchor was found in the boat that Scott had purchased 2 weeks earlier. Scott told a detective that he made the anchor for the boat using a 90-pound bag of concrete and used the rest of the bag to repair his driveway. The detective testified that he found a cement-like substance on the wooden bed of a boat trailer when he searched Scott's warehouse on December 27th. He pointed to what he said were 5 circular areas on the trailer that had less powder than all the areas on the trailer. He also found a dustpan surrounded by the white powder and a sledgehammer. Prosecutors believe that Scott made 5 anchors and used 4 of them to sink Laci's body in the San Francisco Bay. After Scott was arrested, police conducted further searches in the bay in an attempt to locate the anchors, but nothing was ever found. It was said by several people that no one even knew Scott owned a boat, that it was supposed to be a surprise for Laci's stepdad that Scott had purchased this boat. But did Laci even know that he purchased this boat? No one knows. And on April 18th, 2003, Scott Peterson was arrested near a golf course. He had $15,000 cash on him. He dyed his hair blonde. He had a goatee. He had 12 Viagra tablets on him. He had several changes of clothes. He had camping gear, survival gear. His Mercedes was jam-packed with stuff. He had 4 cell phones, 2 IDs, his and his brother ID. Why would he need 2 IDs? And why would he need 4 cell phones, camping gear, survival gear, $15,000 cash, dyed his hair blonde, goatee? Why would he do all of these things? His father said that the reason why his car was jam-packed with all this survival gear and all this cash was because Scott was living in his vehicles to avoid media attention. But in my opinion, just as well as the cops' opinion, all of that was untrue. I, as well as police, believe that Scott Peterson was going to flee and he was going to cross the border to Mexico. I firmly believe that. I think Scott Peterson knew his time was up, and he was afraid, now that the bodies of his wife and his baby boy were found, that he was about to get arrested, and he was. In April of 2003, Scott Peterson was charged with 2 felony counts of murder with premeditation and special circumstances. He pled not guilty. The prosecution believed that Scott Peterson killed his wife to continue his affair with Amber Frey, but would Scott Peterson murder his pregnant wife for someone that he had like 4 dates with? The prosecution believed yes. Why? He wanted out of his marriage. He didn't want to be a father. He didn't want to have the financial burden. He wanted to be free. He wanted to continue his affair with Amber Frey. Prosecutors believed that he used those anchors that he made to weigh Laci's body down when he went fishing that day in the San Francisco Bay. Sharon Roshan knew something was wrong. She testified that when she went to the park to search for Laci, she saw Scott there, but she said Scott did not acknowledge her calling out to him, and that he later angled away from her when she attempted to hug him, and failed to attend any type of candlelight vigil. 2 other relatives of Laci said Scott had shown little emotion during Laci's disappearance, and 3 witnesses testified that Scott had told them he had been golfing, not fishing, after Laci's disappearance. The prosecution called various witnesses to establish that Scott changed his appearance, purchased a vehicle using his mother's name, and added 2 pornographic television channels to his cable service days after his wife's disappearance. A realtor testified that in January of 2003, Scott expressed interest in selling the house he had shared with Laci, saying he did not want her to live in the home if found alive. And a car salesman testified that Scott had traded in Laci's Land Rover for a Dodge pickup truck. Amber Fry testified as to her affair with Scott, and the jury heard the secretly recorded telephone calls between the pair. In one recorded after Laci disappeared, Scott falsely said he was in Paris. As the Petersons' financial condition, an auditor testified for the prosecution that the couple had been living beyond their means and accumulated $23,000 in credit card debt. During cross-examination, the auditor also stated that Scott had paid all his bills on time and had $20,000 of credit available on their cards. Now, if you believe that your wife is coming home, why would you want to sell the house? And why would you trade in her vehicle for a pickup truck? That doesn't make sense. I even asked my man, I said, would you sell my vehicle? Would you get rid of my car? Would you get rid of the house if you knew I was coming back? And like he said, that would be the last thing on his mind. The last thing on anybody's mind would be, let me get rid of cars and houses. It just doesn't make sense. In my opinion, nothing makes sense with Scott. Scott's defense lawyer said there was a lack of evidence against Scott linking him to the murders of Laci and baby Connor. His defense said that they believe Laci was kidnapped and held until she gave birth, and once she gave birth, they dumped their bodies in the San Francisco Bay. That doesn't even make sense. Why would someone kidnap Laci, hold her until she gave birth, and then dumped her and her baby's body in the San Francisco Bay? It does not make sense. But there was a robbery going on in the area around Laci's house, and the defense says that maybe Laci saw the robbery and confronted the robbers, and they kidnapped her just to shut her up, put her in the vehicle, and then dropped her in the San Francisco Bay. In my opinion, I don't believe any of that happened. I don't. I really don't think that would happen. But I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what happened that morning. But all we know is that Scott Peterson is a liar. My final thought, I always give y'all my final thought. And my final thought is I 100% believe that Scott Peterson murdered his pregnant wife, Laci Peterson, along with their baby boy, Connor Peterson. I believe that Scott Peterson wanted a new life. He wanted to continue his affair with Amber Fry. He wanted to get rid of being married, being a father, any financial burden, anything that affected his life. He wanted a new life. He wanted to completely get rid of his old life and start a new life with Amber Fry. And who knows, maybe he wouldn't have continued his affair with Amber Fry. Maybe he wanted to live the bachelor lifestyle. Who knows? But why would he do all the things he did? To me, there was just so much evidence on him. I don't know what man would leave his 8-month pregnant wife and go fishing all day on Christmas Eve. But he told several other people he was going golfing, and then selling the Land Rover, trying to sell the house, telling friends and family that he was playing golf when he was really fishing, growing a goatee, dyeing his hair blonde, having 4 cell phones, IDs. None of it made sense to me. None of it. And to me, anyone, if their partner was missing, especially their pregnant wife, don't you think they would be all over the place searching, doing interviews, going to vigils, anything they could to find their wife? But Scott seemed so cool and calm, like it was just another day. He didn't seem worried. And taking off pictures, at the command center, they had several pictures of Laci and Scott. He would take them down so no one would see. Why would you do that? Why would you be worried about taking down pictures of you and your pregnant wife? The whole thing is heartbreaking to me that someone would murder their pregnant wife. Your son, your wife is carrying your son, and you're going to murder them? Toss them in the San Francisco Bay like they're trash? Have their bodies washed up on shore like they're nothing? What kind of monster are you? Who would do something like that? But in my opinion, there is no question that he did this. I don't believe that someone kidnapped Laci. I don't believe that someone threw her body in the San Francisco Bay. I think Scott Peterson murdered his pregnant wife, tossed her body in the San Francisco Bay, and believed that her and baby Connor would never be found, but they were found. And that just ripped Scott apart. And I think Scott believed when they were found that he was going to be arrested. And that is why he did all the things he did, like dye his hair and grow a goatee. I think he was going to try to flee. My heart goes out to Laci Peterson as well as her family. How heartbreaking is this entire case? And tomorrow I will give y'all a case that is just as heartbreaking as this one. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. I hope that y'all like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to press on the notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne Marie. I also want to thank y'all all for watching my videos, loving my content, and subscribing to my channel. It means the world to me, because without you, I wouldn't be where I am today. And please continue to send me requests, message me, email me, anything y'all need, I am here. And for you, I am truly grateful. Thank y'all again. I love y'all very much. And until tomorrow night, bye.